Good morning, happy Monday. So, it's still snowy outside, despite the fact that we're in the West Country. It's really cold at the moment, but I'm inside and nice and snug and warm in like 2 jumpers. And this morning, I am going to be doing my thesis corrections. So, after you do your Viva, you are told to change a few things. In my case, I had a bunch of spelling and grammar things, which is kind of expected. It's a massive document, you're bound to mess up somewhere. And then I also was requested to do a little bit of extra analysis, which really shouldn't take very long. I actually don't have to write any new computer code to do any analysis. I have to write a little bit to do some plots, but not actually that much left to add to the thesis now. I'll be honest with you, I think this week's going to be more representative of what my life has been like post-PhD, because last week quite a lot happened. Like, there were a lot of different things, like, you know, giving a talk, Pixelgo came and visited, I went sledging. This week, I think is going to be much more me getting my head down, planning ahead, getting videos done, and also, you know, sort of setting stuff up for the future. Much as I said earlier that I was going to be doing thesis corrections, I actually have spent all day just replying to emails. It has been astonishing just how much I've let these things build up. This is the grind. This is the grind of just, like, you know, setting stuff up for the future, answering people's questions, and, you know, eventually today I will get a chance to do some editing. So I asked you guys on Twitter what I should be calling this new series before the first episode comes out, and it seems like Doc Now What is winning, which I really like. I think that was Dr. Lucy Rogers who suggested that one, of Robot Wars fame. Incidentally, bring back Robot Wars. So this new series has a name. Now it's just got to be determined whether this is interesting enough to actually, you know, film. The way that I see it, this is going to be like a diary of a young professional, basically. This is me pretty nascent in the field. You know, I have been doing YouTube for years. I started in 2010, but I've only now been doing it full time, really since the start of this year, since the start of 2018. And, you know, this is going to be my diary of me, hopefully, over the coming episodes, successively getting better and better and better at it and getting more and more exciting opportunities. And I talked to people today in emails about, you know, 3 or 4 really exciting opportunities that are coming up. There are so many things planned that I can't mention yet, but I'm hopefully going to make for really interesting vlogs when I go to these places. So the way I see it, this series is like an investment on your part. You can get invested in me now, if you're not already, as a young, someone early in their career. It just so happened that I was early in my career during the PhD vlogs, and I've now moved from science to science communication and video production. But this will hopefully be a diary of my incredible success, or potentially crushing failure, in which case, you know, maybe this will be a tragedy rather than a comedy, but they both have their merits. Okay, so something new just happened to me. I was just written about by 1080, which is a magazine about YouTubers in the UK, and I think I was mentioned in there before when I won Next Up last year, but this is the first time I've ever been in like the weekly summary of like, this is new and noteworthy on YouTube. I've got like the same billing as Carrie Hope Fletcher and Lex Croucher and these people that I watched when I was like kind of, you know, dreaming about making my own videos. Kind of nuts, I'll be honest. I literally just said, you know, this is going to be hopefully about my professional development and success. Maybe I should start talking about that more. I should get more media attention. I guess it goes to show that whilst you can have days which are kind of boring, like just doing emails all day, apparently I'm moving in the right direction. That's really lifted my mood, actually. Thank you, 1080. Hey, and welcome to the gym. First gym session of trying to gain some mass. I'm here with Alex.
What's up, bitches? What do you explain, Alex, what we're doing at the gym?
We're getting gains from macros, and by macros I mean the type found in Excel. So we're getting swole through pivot tables.
We've committed to doing this now. Like 3 months.
3 months. You can do this.
Trying to pack on some mass.
You can do this. I believe in you. I believe. I mean,
one of us believes.
I'm not even sure how you would stretch out after tricep exercise.
A final note from yesterday. Some of you might think to yourself, where does this come from? You know, why are you doing this? I like working out. I really do like going to the gym. I think there's something very scientific about it. It's like if you do this exercise, this many reps, and you have this many calories and this much protein, you will see this response in muscle. Like it's basic biology, I guess. So I don't know, there's something appealing about it, and also it's just fun. I like doing it. I have pretty consistently for the past couple of years known what to do in the gym. I've just never tracked what I've eaten properly. Until last year when I started losing weight, and I'm now about 10 kilos lighter than I was this time last year. This isn't a sponsored video, but I was using MyFitnessPal, which is a really, really great app. I lost 10 kilos, it works. So for the next 3 months, this is gonna be a little project. It's not gonna be the whole focus of the vlog, because I think that'd be quite boring for a lot of people, but it's gonna be something that I'm doing. And you know, for those of you who are wondering why I'm doing this, apart from, you know, it's a good opportunity to, basically, I like doing things. I like being able to physically do things, like run and jump and climb, and, you know, I don't like the feeling of being unfit. And part of fitness is cardiovascular fitness, but part of it is also strength. It's also your ability to pick stuff up and move it around. I like, you know, I like being useful. So partly it's a practical thing. I just like being able to move stuff around. But also, if I'm honest, I want to look better. And I know that there are going to be people saying, oh, but you know, you look fine the way you are. For some reason, I'm Korg from Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, I'm fine with the way I look right now, especially after I've lost a lot of fat. But I want to put some muscle on. It's my decision. I don't feel pressured to do it. I just want to do it. So there you go. Oh yeah, I got a haircut, by the way. Hopefully I won't touch my hair so much in vlogs now. Alright, so I just finished watching Ibsmo's latest video behind me. For those of you that don't know, basically last night, Alex and I were actually talking about this in the car. There was some screenshots leaked of this really disgusting conversation happening between some students in a law society at the University of Exeter. And since they've been leaked, the university's taken action, the students have been suspended, there's an investigation going on between the student guild and the university itself. Basically, the university's jumped on this immediately, quite rightly, in my opinion. But something else that's happened is that Ibs has uploaded a video. For those of you that don't know, Ibs is a Cambridge student who previously applies to Exeter, and I'm going to paraphrase. He didn't have the best of times applying. I will let you watch his video. I'll leave a link down there. You can watch his video. And he just published another video about the University of Exeter with regards to this incident. In that video, he calls me out, basically, very respectfully, it's got to be said. You know, he's not accusing me of being racist or anything like that. He's asking me, basically, why haven't I talked about racism at Exeter in my blogs? Now, I just left a comment on his video, but I wanted to include a little bit on video to address his questions. So the first thing I want to point out is that people seem to have it wrong that I disagreed with Ibs on his video. Somebody commented on my video basically saying, should I apply to Exeter? I've heard that people get messed around. And I said, you know, you've watched Ibs' video. In my experience, when applying for my PhD, I didn't have any problems, basically, and my friends didn't have any problems when applying. By that, I wasn't trying to demean what Ibs has happened. There's no reason to suggest that he's not telling the truth. I completely believe him. You know, what I was saying was that based on my personal experience, I didn't see any of that. And that's what I want to kind of anchor this discussion on. Because during my time at Exeter, I made a bunch of video blogs, and not once did I talk about racism at Exeter. That is not to say that I don't think that there is racism at Exeter, in the same way that there's racism, I'm sure, in basically every university in the country. There will be a few people at every institution who has these really disgusting beliefs and archaic you know, ideas about whether that's white supremacy or if it's sexism or, you know, whatever. There are always going to be a few stupid people like that, basically. I don't think that's unique to Exeter. Equally, I'm not saying that this is definitely something that happens at Exeter. That's point number one. Point number two is that my videos were only ever meant to be a personal account, right? The whole appeal of the blog, I think, is that this is my personal journey through doing a PhD, through studying at Exeter. It's not ever tried to be, this is what it is like to be a student at Exeter. This is what music is like at Exeter for everyone. You know, it was only ever a personal narrative. And so, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm a I'm very, very white. I mean, this lighting doesn't help, but I am a vanilla man. And as such, because I was a white dude in a predominantly white university, I didn't personally experience any issues of racial discrimination directly. I didn't experience any racial discrimination personally, and equally, I didn't have any friends, including students of colour, they didn't experience direct racial discrimination, or at least they didn't talk about it. I think that's one of the issues here, is that this, as Ib says in his video, this issue has come about because people were able to take screenshots and, you know, they can present the proof that these disgusting things are being said. It becomes easier to prove in the modern day, basically, that, you know, these things are happening. And so it may well be that my friends had experienced discrimination of one form or other. We didn't talk about it. That is why I didn't bring it up in my weekly vlogs, because it didn't form a part of my personal experience of university. Now, to be very clear about that, I fully concede that I am a white dude and I do not see these things clearly. That, you know, it is basically impossible for me to have the same experience, the same institution as a student of colour. And I completely defer to students of colour who say they're experiencing discrimination. I am not for 1 second trying to say that their opinion is wrong or invalid. All that I'm trying to say here is that my personal experience was of a particular nature. However, it is crucially important that we talk about these issues, and I think the difference between Ibs, basically Ibs calls me out saying, why didn't you talk about this in your video? And as I said in the comment, my videos are personal, right? I deal with stuff using a personal narrative. I set this channel up to help kids from state schools, from lower income backgrounds, to get into Oxbridge, because that was my experience. He uses his channel, because he's a student of colour, to talk about these issues, because that's his personal experience. I think if I was to try and talk about that, like if I were to try and, you know, hackney in a discussion of you know, what it's like to be a student of colour, the issues that they're facing, I think that would be hackneyed and kind of like corny at best. Basically, if at its worst, it would just be offensive. It would be completely inappropriate. So I'm not for a minute saying that these issues don't affect people, because clearly they do. What I am trying to say is that I hadn't talked about them before because I didn't think it was appropriate for me to do so, given my experiences and my format. And that my opinion on how Exeter is for students of colour, I mean, like, I think they have taken the right steps. At the time of recording, they have, they've suspended the students, there's an investigation going on. The Guild have jumped on this immediately. I think Exeter has had the right response to this publicly. I think they publicly said, look, this is the thing that's happened, let's investigate this, which I think is exactly what they needed to do. I think what's going to happen next is going to be interesting, if what the university does to try and make sure this doesn't happen again. Because it's one thing to admit publicly that an event happened, it's another thing to pursue that idea, that conviction, and say, look, we don't accept this. Like, it is, I'm pretty sure I speak for the university, everybody at the university, and saying we don't tolerate this kind of behaviour. Like, it is now a question of what do we do to make sure it doesn't happen again. Today's outfit says, I work at home, but I have a video call.
Telling us more about how you create your videos, what your YouTube channel is about.
So the first video call's been done today. There's actually a few. Again, I think as I mentioned earlier in the week, there's just a lot of setting up now. Like, it feels like half of my time is spent sort of looking at stuff that's going to happen in the future rather than making stuff at the moment. I'm currently editing, hopefully, the last kind of session at finishing off the vlog for last week and getting that out. I'm really, really desperate to get this out. And then also get to work on the science video for this week, which I can actually talk about, because in theory it'll be out by the time this vlog's out. So that's going to be about faster than light travel, which is something that I know a fair bit about, but obviously it's one thing to know about a topic and quite another to write a proper scientific script about it. So a little bit anxious to get to work on that. I think it's going to be super interesting to look back on this series, hopefully, like, if it keeps going and people keep watching. To be honest, even if people, as long as this series doesn't damage my channel, I think I'll keep doing it. I think it's going to be really interesting to look back and see how my day-to-day life changes, fingers crossed, as the channel becomes more popular and, you know, I can start to delegate tasks. and like just to see like over the course of a year how much my day-to-day life is changing.
So much better with their endings.
So because it's 2018, I'm able to watch my old chapel choir on my TV because the University of Exeter Chapel Choir has started live streaming their services, and I've just Chromecasted it. This is weird, like singing in this choir for 4 years, and now suddenly I can watch them on TV. I really miss singing with chapel choir. Like, I haven't done anything musical this year. I miss singing, basically. Fortunately, later this year, I'm going to be going on tour with them to France, fingers crossed. And actually, later this vlog for you, I'm heading down to Exeter to catch up with the choir and also test out some new live streaming technology. Ooh, I'm really proud of what the group's achieved. To make up for being cultural, though, I'm now watching the Oxcast streaming Warhammer, because that's just how I roll sometimes. Just for a few minutes, then I need to finish off this vlog.
So we did 3.
So the new vlog is out. It was released this morning. I finished it off last night after watching the Warhammer stream, and I didn't show you, I didn't vlog it, went to the gym with Alex. And then after that I came back and I finished off the thumbnail and uploaded and everything. But what Alex and I did at the gym was we were having a sort of discussion about the, what I mentioned on Monday, which was the kind of scandal, I guess is probably the right word, that's come out of Exeter, and what I can do, how I can use my platform. And as I said on Monday, the problem that I have had is that my channel is limited by being a personal perspective. It has not tried to be anything more than a personal perspective. And I think the best way that I can use this platform with that limitation is to offer it to a different personal perspective. So I'm actually going to Exeter this Sunday to do some stuff with Chapel Choir. We're recording a performance, which of course I'll be bringing you with me. When I'm in Exeter, I am going to be sitting down with a friend of mine who is a BME student and has been quite active on Twitter, sort of on both sides of the equation actually, retweeting the university statements on this and also retweeting statements from students that feel like this isn't a surprise, this is part of a broader culture. So what I'm going to be doing is on Monday in the vlog next week, I'm going to be sitting down with her for a couple of, however long it is, a couple of minutes, and offering her the chance to put her personal experiences forward and basically back off and say, I've put my personal experience of Exeter across. It's time to allow you to say what you think. I'm just going to ask a couple of questions and let her experiences do the talking. I realise this isn't something I have to do. People might feel like perhaps I've been pressured into this online, but I think it is an important thing to do because this channel was founded to improve inclusivity in education. It was all about trying to get state school kids into Oxbridge, like me. And this is part of that broader societal struggle. It's about making sure that people can go to university and feel welcome, and that there's not an environment being created at university whereby certain students of a background, doesn't matter what that background is, certain students of a background do not feel that they are comfortable. So I have a responsibility with a platform founded on that basis and of this size to continue that work. And as I've said, I have been limited by how I've told my story in the videos I've been making. So let's try and use this platform for a broader good. That's going to be in the next vlog. In happier news, now that the vlog has come out, I can finally start work on the next science video, which is going to be about how to go faster than light. This is a video that I've been meaning to make for quite a while, so I'm quite excited to get into it. But like the History of Pi video, I don't have very long to do it. According to my schedule, it's going to be out in 2 days. I'm not sure if it's going to be out on Saturday or Sunday, we'll see. But I think it's possible, but it's going to be quite a lot of work. Right now, though, we've got a very rushed recording of the new Wikicast. This is 2 things I do every week now. Bloody hell. This time is going to start disappearing very quickly, I can tell.
Accredited.
Are you having a stroke, mate? You're right.
Why can't I read that? Accredited.
Accredited.
There you
It's
go.
like pocketed it in Harry Potter in the Stephen Fry.
Okay, so he pocketed it as I can't say it!
In response to the new vlog, somebody pointed out something which I thought was quite nice, and that's that if you are subscribed to me, you are one of the people that contributes to that number of people subscribed to the channel. So you watching, if you're subscribed, why wouldn't you be subscribed by this point? You are in the video in kind of an abstract way, which I thought was kind of cool. So since finishing up the Wikicast, I have been writing. I have been getting on the Faster Than Light video. It's a little bit disheartening when you have a great concept for a video. I know this is something that when I was younger, before I did my physics degree, I would have been interested in this. It's a little bit disheartening to see that other channels have already made a video on the same topic. It's not the same video because I'm presenting stuff in a very unique way. It's a personal way of science communication, incorporating things like prequel memes, for example.
Hello there.
And incorporating, you know, it's the way I think of it is personal storytelling. I'm telling, I'm communicating science as if I was telling a story. When I write a script, and maybe I'll make a video on this in the future, I, you know, separate it out into plot points and key ideas, and then make sure that you follow the therefore or but rule, in that between the key points there has to be a therefore or a but. I'll link down there a fantastic video by the sadly now dead Every Frame a Painting channel. That's a great video for sort of working out how to tell a story. And that's what I try and do with science, which is something which I think is done very much. So it was a little disheartening to see that people have already made very similar videos, and I think in a way that combined with sheer tiredness from not really taking a break for quite a while, it's kind of ground me down a bit. So late this afternoon I'm just a bit like, yeah, feeling it a bit. Doesn't help that my body is aching from the past 2 gym sessions. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I keep taking on too many things? I guess that's why a lot of you watch, though. Mr. What? You sick bastards. You like watching me put myself through all this torture for your amusement. Well, this is just the way I am. This isn't a gimmick. This isn't an act. As you'll see, now I do vlogs every week. This is just who I am. As somebody commented, I can't remember who it was, said, "I'm glad to see you're still overworking yourself." That's kind of the way I've always been. So perhaps I should take that as a hint and, you know, take a little bit of time off sometime soon. Maybe a day off would be nice. Looking through the comments from the most recent vlog, I want to give a shout out to SWEPC, Swepatitis C, who suggested Doc, now what, as opposed to Doc now what, which is what the original title was. So that's now been tweaked slightly. I could have got away with not even mentioning that, but I thought credit where credit's due. Yeah, slightly changed the title of the vlog so it makes sense. So this morning I walked down to the shops just to give me a chance to get outside and to give you something of a different, you know, change of scenery. It's not just my office all the time. Somebody asked in the comments of the recent vlog what podcast I listen to, which is a really good question because I went through a massive burst of listening. Oh my god, I am so not with it this morning. My ping to the outer net is ridiculous. So apart from the Wikicast, which of course you should all be listening to already, 2 podcasts which I think it's important everybody listens to are More or Less and In Our Time. And they're both by the BBC. They're BBC radio shows that are also done as podcasts. More or Less is about statistics, and it basically takes figures and kind of breaks down. Maybe you hear something in the news like 75% of Britons can't name an author, something like that. They'll break that down and be like, where does this come from? Are these assumptions good assumptions? What does this tell us? And they do it for things like the EU referendum, for things all over the world, and it's just, it makes you more statistically literate, which is a super important skill. So definitely More or Less. And the other one, which is more famous, is In Our Time, which is Melvin Bragg, a journalist, talking for an hour to experts on a particular topic. And the one I just listened to was Sun Tzu, the author of The Art of War, and each episode is like a really quite specific topic. Although sometimes it's not even that specific. Sometimes it's like plasma, which is like 99% or something like that of the kind of observable matter in the universe. But basically they're very professionally curated discussions on, you know, specific topics with experts, and they are every week, and it's a fantastic way to just broaden your knowledge, makes you much more aware of you know, kind of what's academically out there, I guess. Other podcasts I recommend are 99% Invisible, which is about design in kind of a broad sense, but super, like highly produced. And actually that also goes for Song Exploder, which basically breaks down a particular song with that could be the composer or the sort of singer-songwriter, and sort of looking through track by track, this is how we built it up. So to me, as a like kind of pseudo-musician, I find that really interesting. If you're after comedy stuff, the Triforce by Wikicast is like a very niche thing. You have to kind of know the people for it to be funny, but I really like it. My Dad Wrote a Porno is probably the funniest podcast I've ever listened to, which is, for those of you that don't know, a guy's dad, it turned out that he'd written a porn, like a novel, and it is terrible. And the podcast is the guy's son and two of his friends reading it out and sort of just reacting to how bad it is. And it sounds like a terrible idea for a podcast, but oh my god, is it funny. Okay, now it's time for me to use the vlog as my secret motivational weapon, because when I really need to do something, I know that if I film myself, I'll actually stick to doing it. So I need to write this video, which means it's time to film me writing this video. Alright, so I've been writing for quite a while now. The script's much further along than it was. I have basically, the script's, by the nature of the video, it's split between special and general relativity, right? Those are the two theories that are at play here. Going through that mathematically and reminding myself of what I did at Oxford was really fun. It uses mathematics that I hadn't used anywhere else, and it produces this theory which is just so beautiful that I may have already added to my Amazon cart a textbook on general relativity. The one that I use, which is Rindler, Special and General Relativity, which I thought was a fantastic textbook, but I think I'm gonna have to buy it for myself because I want to get fully engaged with this again. Because just skimming through the Wikipedia articles to being like, yep, okay, I remember this, yep, the metric, determines the Christoffel symbols, that determines the, there's like a chain basically that takes you from the geometry to the actual physics, and just like reminding myself of those links and having to do these things in the exam, and I was like, I just want to get back into it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love atmospheric physics, and I've loved working on my PhD, but I've definitely missed some other bits of physics. Now I'm going to go off for a drink in town with some friends. See, I do take time off, just not enough. Cheers! Social! So Alex, I was asked to recommend some podcasts this episode. Do you know of any good podcasts?
I'd say, why aren't you a doctor yet? It's my podcast, and if you like funny, humorous ways of learning science with people that, don't look...
White?
I was going to say pale, stale and male.
Wait, I don't know what you mean.
Science and culture, come give us a shout. Why aren't you a doctor yet?
There's a link below. Do you think anyone can tell we're massive nerds?
And, Hey, Simon, do you got everything you need, Simon? What? Yeah, okay. That's just
Mine broke. It's absolute bullshit.
Just what we got in the bag there?
There's some healthy veggies.
And this, and that's just
It's more.
Some brown.
This is the second shot like this I've done this week. I am eating my wallet to death.
Do you feel swole?
Not yet. Oh, this is B-roll transition footage.
Gonna do a little skirt.
So it's much later, after the gym. Earlier I did a whole bunch of cooking. I actually sorted out my meals for the next 5 days. Longer than actually, because I'm going away. But 5 days worth of meals, which are now in the fridge, all one big batch of cooking. So, it's done. Don't have to think about food for a little while. And now I'm back at work on the script, which is taking so much longer than I thought it would. I think this video is going to have to be delayed by a couple of days, which is a great shame, because I hate being late. I hate getting failing to meet deadlines. I may have just been a bit too ambitious with this one. This is just something to learn from in future. I just don't think doing 4 science videos or 4 kind of feature videos a month is feasible. I think 2 is more realistic, and then putting more stock into making those ones better and to making the vlogs better. Just kind of redistributing how I'm spending my time. So tonight's job is to finish off this script. I am not going to be filming later because I am so tired. You know, what a surprise. I went to the gym earlier, but I am wiped. I think this is going to have to be a job for Sunday morning recording. Except Sunday, there's yet more gym because we're really hitting this hard. Alright, so you joined me relatively late in the day. I came down to Exeter this afternoon, went to the gym this morning with Alex. I would have filmed on the train, talking about what it's like to come down to Exeter, the number of times I've taken this journey, but it was so ridiculously crowded I just couldn't. There were 9 of us and a little bit between carriages because there were more people than seats. We are doing a live stream tonight, which is a test. It's called Compline, which is kind of a short service, but we're testing out a new live streaming setup because I've basically been playing around with some software, it's new hardware. And then tomorrow is the real reason I'm down, is we're live streaming Handel's Messiah, which is quite a big deal, and not entirely sure it's going to work, but here we go. Tomorrow I've also got a meeting with my supervisors to talk about the extra corrections that I'm doing to my thesis. It'd be quite nice to see them actually, it's been a little while. And then as discussed on, I think Thursday, also going to be sitting down with my friend Penny to talk about her experiences as a BME student at Exeter. So that's going to be in the next vlog.
So what? I don't know what you've been doing this week. What have you been doing this week?
So you have to watch the vlog and find out.
Oh, but they're so long, Simon.
They'll be short, the next one will be shorter.
I'm such a lovely friend.
You are. Reunion gym. Because it... Oh my god, it's done!
Wearing the Wikicast jumper. Oh, no,
nearly. Okay, so we had a few drinks at the pub and now I am back. You might recognise this room. This was the room where I stayed when finishing my PhD. This is basically a spare room at my mate Michael's house. So I'm sleeping here for the next 2 nights. And that's the end of the week. So tomorrow, I'm going to be doing that chapel live stream. We're going to tweak a few things based on tonight. But that's going to be happening. I've got that meeting. Next week, I don't even know. I need to get that Fast and Light video out as soon as possible. This vlog's going to come out. There's 2 more videos. I might make that just 1 video that's going to come out next week as well. But also, there's that talk tomorrow with my friend about BME experiences at Exeter. So... that's going to be tomorrow for me, next episode for you. So that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Do tune in next time for all that extra stuff. And yeah, thank you for watching. Maybe next time I'll work out what the hell to do with this PhD.